back inside the McCarthy Athletic Center in Spokane, Washington for Gonzaga and the Air Force. The Mountain West Conference against the West Coast Conference. As we get ready for the Christmas holiday that's coming up soon, Gonzaga's got Air Force, and then they open league play against Portland, and then a game against Xavier before they get out of 2011. But as of right now, things seem to be rolling along very nicely for Gonzaga as we take a look at the starting lineups. First for the Falcons, Todd Fletcher, Michael Lyons, the player we spotlighted there in their open, Mike Fitzgerald, Taylor Stewart, and Taylor, I better get this right the first time, Brooke Heiss. And the head coach is Jeff Reynolds, now in his 5th season at the Air Force Academy. Of course, an expert on the Princeton-style offense as we take a look at the starting lineups for Gonzaga. Pangos, Bell, Hart, Elias Harris, and the big man in the middle, Rob Sacre. Students aren't here, Richard Fox, but as we take a look at Mark Few, there is some energy in here.
Well, it's not just the students that bring that energy for GU. Excellent crowd outside of the campus crowd, but it's going to be important tonight for GU to create some of their own energy, given the fact that the students aren't here. And a lot of these kids, a lot of these young kids looking forward to going home. You got to make sure you take care of tonight before you think about heading home tomorrow.
And Air Force winning the opening tip. This is Lyons right away, taken away by Mike Hart. Those starting lineups brought to you by Gozag's Checking, only at Numerica Credit Union. Gozag's Checking, it's banking for champions. Details at banklikeabulldog.com. Here's Hart. Pangos. 3 ball.
You'd like to see him get going. Got it going a little bit against Butler on Tuesday night, 3 of 7 from the three-point line, but has been largely struggling from behind the arc since that WSU game. Obviously, know he can stroke the ball from the three-point line, but I'd like to see a little more consistency from Kevin. That's a nice way to start this ball game.
There's Lyons. High post. And there you see this offense looking for open shots. Fletcher's jump shot is good. 3-2.
Look for Air Force to be patient offensively. Lots of back cuts. Guys will come off those back cuts and look to set ball screens, so it's going to keep you constantly in motion defensively. And we mentioned at the open, only 1 day to prepare for GU. That's awfully tough.
Here's the feed inside. Harris, the flush. 5-2 Gonzaga.
And look for GU to get those touches inside early as often as possible, given the lack of size for Air Force. Really, if you look at it, Brooke Heiss, the only player at 6'10". The next tallest player to play for Air Force, playing any significant minutes, is 6'6". So GU would love to get that presence going inside to start this ball game.
There's Fletcher. It's a very patient offense, Richard.
Right now, 8 seconds left on the shot clock. This is a great possession for Air Force.
Stewart driving, ran right into Sacre and Harris, and a foul is called inside. And I believe this is on Elias Harris. His first, the game's first.
Look at Air Force, this Princeton offense predicated on back cuts, ball screens, but also patience offensively. Force teams to guard you, shorten the number of possessions, or rather reduce the number of possessions throughout the ball game by making sure you eat up a lot of your shot clock on the offensive end. And then on the flip side, defensively, this is an older group, very disciplined. We talked about it at the open. The defensive field goal percentage numbers are as good as anybody in the country.
True, but it's the shot clock that did away with a lot of these type offenses.
Well, there's no doubt about it, but you can still be effective with it. If you can reduce the possessions for your opponent, 20 possessions in a game, that's a win for you if you're Air Force.
Turnover. Falcons basketball again. Lyons, this is a deep 3. Back of the iron, rebounded Harris. There's Pangos with it.
And a quick shot for Air Force. Really, Lyons the only guy who has that green light to shoot early in the shot clock.
Gary Bell's got one as well. From the wing, 8-4 Gonzaga. Wide open was Gary Bell.
Yeah, a little miscommunication from Air Force. Don't see that very often from this group. GU did a nice job able to take advantage.
Here's Fletcher to Fitzgerald. 15 on the shot clock. Going to be tough to get this game into the 80s.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Scoop shot. Fitzgerald is good. Crafty little move there.
Yeah, he's all around the rim. 64% on the year inside the arc. He's crafty and scoring a variety of different ways. Not all that gifted athletically, but he finds a way to get it done.
And there you see the defense. Lyons after it. Hart smacked into him, and Lyons may have just hurt his knee. He's really hurt.
Yeah, he's not feeling good right now. A loose ball, and no harm there from Mike, just trying to make a play on a loose ball. Lyons didn't see Mike coming in. Unfortunate. This is clearly the best player for Air Force. Has had a tremendous season. Let's take a look at the play. Loose ball, both kids going after it. Mike comes in and does not look good on that right knee. Coach and trainer out on the floor. Let's hope he can get back up.
He's in a lot of pain. Happening right here in front of us. It's actually his left knee, Richard, that they're looking at.
Pardon me.
We take another look at it from another angle. Oh. I'm not sure we're going to see Michael Lyons again in the game.
That did not look good.
6'6" junior out of Newport News, Virginia.
Walk off on his own power. Gingerly moving that with that left leg, but that's a big loss for Air Force if he can't come back. You take him out of your lineup. The next highest scorer on the ball club is Mike Fitzgerald at 10 points per game, and then you see a steady drop in offensive production from the rest of this Air Force roster.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that the same town that produced Michael Vick and Allen Iverson? Newport News, Virginia.
I want to say yeah. I have to think about it though. I know that. It's
You're such a team guy. That's what I love about Richard Fox. He's a team guy. Sure, he says. That sounds about
whatever
right.
you say, buddy.
So now, can the Falcons find offense? Another turnover. Mike Hart with it. And the lay and missed it. Left it short. Rebounded. Cameron Williams, number 4, on the floor now as he replaces Michael Lyons.
Mike again coming up to play defensively, but continues to struggle finishing. He's got to start making some of those plays around the rim. I don't think the coaching staff is expecting him to be a consistent shooter from the perimeter, but when it comes to those layups, he has to find a way to be more consistent knocking those down. Got 2 steals already for Mike Hart. He's so active defensively, and if he continues this effort on that end of the floor, he's going to play throughout this season, even as Eddie emerges off the suspension.
Hart may have gotten a hand on that one. The officials didn't think so. That shot was too far off.
Yeah, it looked to me like he got a piece of it. Air Force players looking around at the officials, looking to get that call, but none of the 3 officials saw it.
Zachary setting the screen for Bell. Having quite a freshman campaign for Mark Few.
Yeah, really, both he and Kevin have been outstanding. About as good a freshman seasons as this program has seen from those guard spots. And they continue to get better, more comfortable with the pace of the game, more comfortable with what the coaching staff is asking of them.
Bell inside. Rimmed out. Harris with the rebound, trying to get up there. Does, missed it. Brookheist had it. Harris on the floor. And possession arrow stays with Gonzaga. 15:29 to play first half. Gonzaga with a 2-point lead, 8-6 on Air Force. Greg Heister and Richard Fox were courtside for Gonzaga and Air Force. 15:29 to play in the first half. GU with a 2-point lead, but Michael Lyons, the top offensive threat for Air Force, left the game moments ago with an apparent knee injury. Not gotten word yet, but the way it looked on the replay, we may not see Michael Lyons again this game.
Well, you wouldn't be surprised if they sat him out the rest of the game. It looks serious from that first glance, and as you saw the replay, painful injury for him.
12 on the shot clock. Harris Pangos, 3-ball, his second of the game.
And that's a big-time play from Elias Harris. A good post-entry pass, the quick double from Air Force. Rather than trying to force things on his own, Elias finds the open man. Kevin steps up with confidence and knocks it down. But that's the progression of Elias's game. Not only is he looking to score for himself, he's starting to make the players around him better.
Going back to your era, though, that's how Blake Stepp got a lot of his threes. Feed the post, kick out to the open shooter.
I mean, you ask anybody, for the most part, play this game inside out. I know you're going to tease me since I'm a center. That's the way I want the game played. But That's the proper balance. You get the ball inside, particularly early in the game. Early in the game, force teams to try to protect that painted area. And now this year with GU's shooters, much better shooting ball club this season than they have in the last couple years. Teams are forced to collapse that defense, and you can open up some of those shots early in games for your shooters. And you see GU has really started to do that here consistently in the last 3 or 4 games.
Sam Dower on the floor now for Harris. 11-6 our score. Gonzaga retains possession with 16 on the shot clock. Pangos again, 3-ball, feeling it. That one was short. Loose ball, out of bounds. Air Force basketball.
For the 3rd time we've seen players on both teams on the floor. This Air Force team not overly talented, great balance on what they have, but they do play hard, and you saw it right there.
Stewart out of the game. In number 11, Chris Carter for Air Force. Air Force just 1 field goal in the last 4 minutes and 53 seconds. It'll be interesting now to watch their offense to see how it can progress without Michael Lyons on the floor. That's Colt Barnhill driving to the rim, drawing the foul and earning free throws. This will be the 3rd team foul on Gonzaga, and Mike Hart picking up his 2nd.
You see Air Force on the year, 15 guys have seen run, and that's largely due to the fact that they have a JV program. A lot of these kids come out of the Air Force prep school. So you look at Barnhill, only 3 games on the year, 3 minutes, but that's another reason why they're tough to scout for, because you're not sure who they're going to end up bringing off of that, the latter portion of their bench. It's hard to scout for that.
Mike Hart out. Guy Landry Eddy into the game. It's the first time we've watched him play the last couple of games. It's the first time we've had the opportunity to call a game with him in it.
Sure.
This is an explosive basketball player here for Mark Few.
Big-time athlete. A lot like Earl Knight as far as his ability to explode and get to the rim. I think defensively he'll progress and be one of their better, if not best, perimeter defender. And he's shown a knack as he gets comfortable. He can knock down perimeter jump shots and finish at the rim. He's a great asset to have, either starting at that 3 or backing up Mike Hart coming off that bench.
Eddy into the middle, into the corner. Nice look to Bell. Eddy with the rebound. And now he'll go to the free throw line. And there you see how active he is as a player.
Yeah, and every time the shot goes up, he looks to get to that rim offensively and create a second chance opportunity either for himself or his team. He's an unselfish kid, really coachable, had a lot of success at the junior college level. He led Midland Texas College to the national championship last year, has played some for his national team. He's a guy with a ton of experience. He's a winner. I think the coaching staff is really happy to finally have him here after the first, those first 8 games where he had to sit out due to the NCAA.
Now you just saw the information come up on the screen there about Eddy. Born in the Ivory Coast, only spent a day or 2 there.
Right.
In fact, his parents were already living in France. His dad wanted him born in the Ivory Coast, so they came to the Ivory Coast to have him, and then went right back to France. So he's officially from the Ivory Coast, but he grew up in France. There's the story.
That's a little interesting. Honey, you're going to labor? Let's get on the plane.
So I think if I remember right, he went back when he was like 10 years old just to see it. Here's a chance for 4. Foul called on Gary Bell. Fitzgerald hits the 3, and now he'll shoot a free throw.
And that's what Fitzgerald does. Primarily scores from the 3-point line. Over 70% of his shots come from behind the arc, and just a careless play from Bell. I love the effort, but when you're looking to fly out and challenge 3-point shooters when you're caught behind the play, you can't come right directly at them. You need to jump on the side of them, try to distract them, but not a heads-up play right there. Gives up a 4-point play.
Well, whatever I said earlier about the energy in here,
it's gone. I'll tell you what, this is brutal.
We're not in the library, are we? Did we somehow show up in the campus library?
Can everybody hear us? This has been a problem for GU. When the students finally all leave, you have a game or 2 like this. It's going to be the same next week and the week after. It's important that Gonzaga finds a way to create their own energy. And Coach Fee talks about it all the time, that bunker mentality. At the end of the day, all we need is each other. And that's really going to be a big motto here the next 3 weeks.
Harris with a double team. Found Pangos in the corner. Oh, deep three. He's got 3 of those.
Things just clicking for